If the CLP back Corbyn to stand, right, he should be allowed to.
I don't think Keir Starmer is a great leader.
Keir Starmer looking to show to the ruling class and all the elites that he is fit to run the affairs of British capitalism.
I'm sure there are a lot of socialists who have left the Labour Party who will be mobilised to go and campaign in Islington North, and I think, you will have a lot of people out in the streets, but as a Labour Party member myself, although I support Corbyn, I wish he was still a Labour MP, right? I won't be campaigning for him myself because I don't want to get kicked out of the Labour Party.
I think that's gone a bit too far, sort of like purging that aspect of the party, regardless of which side you are on within Labour. And I think really it's just making it more divisive going into another election.
He's looking to burgeon his credentials for running the affairs of Britain on behalf of the wealthy.
My heart says I'm a Labour Party supporter, but they are not inspiring me at the moment.
On Wednesday, Keir Starmer said that Jeremy Corbyn would not be allowed to run as a Labour MP at the next election. What do you make of that?
Again, that's, I think, Keir Starmer looking to show to the ruling class and all the elites that he is fit to run the affairs of British capitalism, and that means silencing any of the opposition that he might have internally. He's done his best to purge the Corbyn left, purge any sort of pro-Palestine sentiment. He's looking to burgeon his credentials for running the affairs of Britain on behalf of the wealthy.
I don't think people realise how much the NHS means to this country and how much of a safety net it is. And when it's gone, and they need to realise that, they need to wake up and realise what's happening to it now. And I don't think really most people do.
Do you think Labour are going to be a good alternative to the Conservatives?
Right. Really, I think at the moment they're probably the only alternative. But unless the Labour Party radically changes some of its ways, no, I don't. My heart says I'm a Labour Party supporter, but they are not inspiring me at the moment. I don't think Keir Starmer is a great leader. I don't think he has any great policies, and any policies that they do have at the minute aren't radical enough.
I think regardless of what you thought of him, I don't think it's fair to move him from the party. Because I think there has been an effort in Starmer's administration to remove a lot of the stuff like the AntiSemitism and clearing that up. However, I don't think it was right to move him as an MP, especially since a lot of his own constituents will probably still want to vote for him. I think that's gone a bit too far, sort of purging that aspect of the party, regardless of which side you are on within Labour. And I think really it's just making it more divisive going into another election to kind of split the party like that.
I'm big on local democracy, internal democracy, sorry, CLP Democracy, right? So I think if the CLP back Corbyn to stand, right, he should be allowed to. And it's not just the CLP, I think it's residents of Islington North as well. He's had an overwhelming mandate since '83, time and time again, one of the biggest turnouts in the country, and they're removing the right of his constituents to vote for him, unless he runs as an independent.
Keir Starmer also announced that any MP that were to back Jeremy Corbyn for the Labour ballot could potentially lose the whip. Do you think that Corbyn is perhaps putting the more socialist MPs in a difficult position? Yes,
but they're not stupid. I think the SCG can't campaign for Corbyn because they know they'll get expelled, right? Momentum, if they tell their members to go out and campaign for Corbyn, they'll get proscribed, right? So just don't be silly about it. Of course you can support Corbyn, but don't, be public about it in that sense. I'm sure there are a lot of socialists who have left the Labour Party who will be mobilised to go and campaign in Islington North, and I think, you will have a lot of people out in the streets, but as a Labour Party member myself, although I support Corbyn, I wish he was still a Labour MP, right? I won't be campaigning for him myself because I don't want to get kicked out of the Labour Party.
A lot of the reasoning behind Keir Starmer not wanting Jeremy Corbyn to run is allegedly that he's running away from Tory attacks. He doesn't want to be attacked by Rishi Sunak.
I think the media is a massive issue with that. Even with strike coverage now, you see headlines involving Jeremy Corbyn in it for no reason. I'm seeing Sky News headlines that are Jeremy Corbyn or picket line when he hasn't been a leader for 3 years. But I think it's really a media deflection to try pin him in it. Even in PMQs every week you get Rishi Sunak mentioning Corbyn, even though he's not really a relevant party, the Labour Party now, and it's just picking on those buzzwords. picking on like the divisiveness of Corbyn to try and discredit Starmer and the Labour Party, which I think from the media is stupid, but then I also think it's going too far the other way in trying to completely remove him to kind of deflect from that aspect of it. But yeah.
Do you think most of the country will still associate Jeremy Corbyn with the party no matter what Starmer does?
I think it depends on the media really. I think that's a massive aspect of it. I think even just him being mentioned, I think brings back that association, him being in news coverage, him being in PMQs, but I think it's just obviously, if you actually think about it, you can see he has no involvement with policy now. It's just trying to discredit them basically.
Do you think people would be surprised to know that he's still a Labour Party member?
Yes, I feel like this isn't really public knowledge. It's a bit of a strange one, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a strange Labour member, but doesn't have the whip.
Yep.
It's an odd dichotomy, I guess.
It is, yeah. It almost feels like a contradiction of like the party rulebook, how this has been allowed to happen. But I think it's an overreach from the leadership.
Do you think that Rishi Sunak and the rest of the Tory party's jibes about Jeremy Corbyn to Keir Starmer are sticking in the wider narrative?
Not particularly. No, I think it's been 3 years now since Corbyn was leader of the Labour Party. I think they have a point. In some ways, Keir Starmer sat on Corbyn's front bench for X amount of years, therefore he's associated with him. But I just feel like the world has moved on now, right? There's bigger issues, cost of living, strikes, but Tory corruption, basically. So, not really. I think it's quite poor politics, to be honest.
What we need to do, we need to privatise. Sorry, we need to get. No, sorry. Whoa, take that away. We need to get things back into public ownership. Water, energy, things like that. They should not belong to private companies. And they shouldn't belong to foreign companies either. It should be held in this country, and it's an asset of this country. Why are the profits from water companies being sent abroad? Why are we subsidising? Your rail companies. We're subsidising the French. We are paying vast amounts of money for our water, and those profits from that, they're not going back into fixing the water system or the sewerage system. No, they're pouring all the sewerage into the rivers or into the sea and taking the profits. Those profits, they shouldn't be able to make any profits until they fix the systems that they have got, that they have inherited and put no money into in the past. They're doing the bare minimum just to keep the taps flowing and keep the profits up. It needs to stop.